Hey, so today we are moving on to dividing negative decimals, and just like with adding and subtracting and multiplying, we're combining what we know with dividing integers with dividing decimals. So to review, in order to divide decimals, you want to start by moving the decimal point in the number that you're dividing by, okay? So we're trying to figure out how many times that number goes into the other one, and it's a lot easier to figure out how many times a whole number goes into that number than 0.7 or something like that. So make that second number a whole number by moving the decimal point over. If you move the decimal point over in that number, then you also need to move it over the same number of spaces in the first number to keep it consistent. And then you're just going to divide like normal, okay, using long division. My division signs aren't in here for some reason, so I'll write this in. First, we are solving negative 21.7 divided by negative 0.7. And just like with multiplication, start by determining if the sign of our answer will be positive or negative. Okay, we have a negative divided by a negative, meaning our answer will be positive. Secondly, we want this number to be a whole number, so I move the decimal point over one space to make it 0.7 into 7. Because I moved it one space here, I also need to move it over one space here to make that number 21.7 into 217. So our new problem that we're working with is 217 divided by 7. And now, long divide. 7 goes into 21 3 times. 3 times 7 is 21. Bless me. Whew. 21 minus 21 is 0. Bring down the 7. 7 goes into 7 one time, and that is exact. So our answer here is just 31. Okay. Our next one, 13.14 divided by negative 1.8. We have a positive divided by a negative, making our answer negative. So, first thing we need to do is make this a whole number. Right now it's 1.8. Let's make it 18. Because we moved the decimal point over one place in that number, we need to also do it in this number. So move it over one place. That makes this 131.4. So our new problem is 131.4 divided by 18. When you have a big number that you're trying to figure out how many times does 18 go into 131, what I like to do is just do a Google search of the multiples. So you can look up multiples of 18 and just list them out so you don't even have to think about it. So let me go get mine. So I looked that up earlier and found that it is 18, 36, 54, 72, 90, 108, 126, 144, and you might need more, you might need less, but that's what I'm gonna go to. So 18 goes into 131 this many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. 7 times 18 is that 126. We can subtract and get 5 and bring down a 4. 18 goes into 54 exactly 3 times. 1, 2, 3. When you do that, you get a remainder of 0. And don't forget, you have to shoot this decimal point straight up into our answer. You can even start by doing that before you do the division. And you get an answer of 7.3, okay? And don't forget, it's a negative 7.3. All right, and then our last problem that we're working with is another negative divided by negative, making our answer positive. And then next we want to make this a whole number. Right now it's 0.05. We need to move it over 2 places to make it a 5. That means we also have to move this over 2 places, which makes this open space, turning this number into 3,190 and divided by 5. So this is our new problem that we're working with. And long divide. 5 goes into 31 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract and get 1. Bring down a 9. 5 goes into 19 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. Subtract and get 4. Bring down a 0. 5 goes into 40 8 times, and that is exact. So our answer is 638. Okay. Our last problem is a word problem, and it says in 1 week your bank statement shows that you spent $117.17. On average, what would your bank statement show per day? So if this is the amount that you spent in a week, well, there's 7 days in a week. If we want to figure out how many of this is per day, then divide by 7. Remember that an amount that you spend can be represented with a negative value. So our division problem that we're solving is negative 117.17 divided by 7. And in this example, the number that we're dividing by is already a whole number. We don't need to move any decimal points or decimal places because this isn't a decimal. So we can just set this up with long division. We'll do 117.17 divided by 7 and take it from here. 7 goes into 11 1 time. You get 7. Subtract and get 4, bring down this 7. 7 goes into 47 6 times. 6 times 7 is 42. Subtract and get 5, bring down a 1. I'm going to carry this decimal point up here so I don't forget. 7 goes into 51 7 times. 7 times 7 is 49. Subtract and get 2. Bring down the 7. 7 goes into 27 3 times. Multiply and get 21. Subtract and get 6. There's nothing to bring down, so you could write in a 0 and bring down a 0. 7 goes into 60 8 times. And I'm actually going to stop there because we're dealing with money now. And remember, money only goes to the hundredths place. So this gives me enough information to represent my answer rounded to the hundredths place. That 8 would round the 3 up to a 4, making our final answer negative $16.74. So on average, that's the amount that was spent per day. Okay, the negative represents spending the money rather than earning it. So that's how we divide decimals. Go ahead and practice.